Good afternoon. Tony Dottino here on Halloween Eve. I hope you've got your trick-or-treat treats ready for your trick-or-treaters that are hopefully coming to your door sometime after 6 o'clock tonight. Last year we were a little short on visitors and a little extra on the candy. So I hope this year we cut back on the candies, and I hope we don't get an excess of visitors. But anyway, it's Halloween Eve, and I wanted to do my Live with Tony with you and cover something, and I keep hearing people talking about, which is short-term memory problems. And the first thing that comes to my mind is I always ask people, number one, what do you mean by short-term memory? And that's simple usually, because short-term memory is like, okay, somebody just gave me an address, somebody just gave me a phone number, and I need to immediately get in the car and go to that address, or I need to go to the store. I just had my shopping list, and somebody reminded me you need to pick up an extra loaf of bread, or you needed to pick up a bottle of milk or a carton of milk, and you get to the store and you stand there and say, what did I come to the store for? That would be a short-term memory problem. You were given some instructions, you got in the car, you drove to the store, and you get into the doorway and you say, God, why did I come to the store? That does happen to me once in a while, and I stop and think about it and say, okay, let me go back to my conversation and stop multitasking in my brain and thinking about 6 other things that I was trying to do as I left the house and drove 5 minutes to the grocery store. So short-term memory is somebody's giving you something to do and within the next hour or so, and you have forgotten what that is. So now you've got a memory issue. And so I always recommend people do is go back and ask yourself, how many other things were you thinking about when you bumped into that particular issue? Then we talk about working memory. It involves the pieces of information that you're putting to work that you're planning to immediately take action on, which is the same as the short-term thing that we talk about, where I want to get something in my mind and go act on it right away. And we can define that as working memory, as well as I talk about it sometimes as being short-term. Meaning you're not planning to store it in there for next week. You're not planning to retain your working memory or your short-term memory for purposes of, I want to remember this for the next couple of weeks so I don't forget it. It's actions you're taking in that immediate present moment, and therefore you can act it and then flush it. It's gone. Went to the store yesterday, what did I buy? Okay, it doesn't matter anymore. I went to the store today and I picked up some bread and some candies for trick-or-treaters. Then you get to this thing called recent memory. It differs from working in that it includes information you have learned in the past few days. So in this article that I'm reading in the Mind, Mood, and Memory, put out by Massachusetts General, they have a thing about recent memory, and that's the memories you've had that covers maybe the last 3 or 4 days. I was trying to remember today, when was the last time I went swimming in our community pool this week? And I started to think about it because today is Friday, it's Halloween, and our temperatures dropped to 50 degrees last night. Does not make for nice swimming in our community pool, which is outdoors. So I started to think about it. I said, gee, I was swimming. I didn't swim on Thursday. I swam last on Tuesday. Temperatures were 83 degrees. The water was a little chilly, but you know what? I got my laps in. I did my swimming for the week, and I made it through the month of October, getting into the pool at least once a week. All of this is what we call our recent memory in terms of what did I do this week and what did I do on Monday? Maybe Monday's a little far out from Friday, but that's okay. What did I do Monday? When did I get to the pool and did my laps on Tuesday? How many did I do? Do I remember that? And here it is on Friday, and it's 50 degrees, and I am not going to any pool today. So don't have to worry about what I'm going to be remembering on Saturday, Sunday as it relates to my pool. However, I may want to remember when was the last time I went and did my gym workout. And so I go back to Wednesday and said, no, I ran out in the community on Wednesday. Now it's Friday. I may lock that in and say, okay, Friday I went to the gym, and I talked to some people there at the gym today, and I've locked in a couple of memories from my visit on Halloween evening, and certainly seeing the costumes of the attendants at the LA Fitness gym, as well as Publix grocery store. Some of the different outfits that people are having for Halloween Eve. Another thing we talk about is word retrieval. You're in the middle of a sentence, and I see this happen a lot, and you're looking for a particular word. You want to emphasize a point, and you're now searching for a specific word. And sometimes, do they really have to drive you crazy if you're looking for a specific word? It reminds me of the times I do my crossword puzzles, and I'm sitting and doing crosswords, and I'm looking for a word, and I'm looking for it, and I know what this word's going to be, and it just doesn't come to me at that moment. So what I've learned to do is I put it aside. Do not stress myself over it. That's the hardest part, is not to stress yourself over it. Let it calm down a little bit, and then either go back to it in an hour or the next day. And it's amazing how many answers I can just kind of rip off the next day that I struggle with the day or afternoon before. So sometimes this word retrieval, when we're looking for a particular word to make a point in a sentence or a point that we're trying to get to somebody, we can get ourselves tangled up in the stress of it. And one of the things I've learned is when you're stressing, it's never going to be a good idea for any type of memory and any time of retrieval, especially if you've lost your car keys or you're trying to remember where you've put your wallet or your cell phone. Cell phones are great because we pick them up, we talk to people, we put them down wherever we finish the conversation. And we don't always have what I call a home base to put them. Keys, a different story. When you come in through the front door, you should have a home base for those keys, and therefore remembering where you put them should not be as difficult. Remembering where you put your wallet should not be as difficult. Remember where you put your cell phone may be a whole different story based on where you took your last call and where you placed your cell phone down. So regardless of what your issues are that you may be concerned about or may give you a little bit of a bump, as you get older, sometimes some of these little bumps, you worry about them a little bit more. You worry about, oh my goodness, I'm getting older. I'm not getting old, but I'm getting older, and that's okay. And so while you walked into a room or rechecking a phone number are not major problems. If they're not impacting your life or doing something that you forgot to do, something like go to a doctor appointment or take your medications, is a little bit different. Which is why they have pill boxes for 7 days with dates on them, or the day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All aspects of cognition, which entail our working memory, this is what I need to do now, and our recent memory, this is something I did a few days ago and I want to do it again today, or retrieval of words. We can always make improvements in those given the fact that we know what a memory technique or a skill may be or a method that we may deploy. If we prioritize our lives and not getting ourselves so worked up into a stressful mode and then getting enough of sleep. It's amazing how little people stop and think about sleep as having an impact on their memories. And so I always ask people, are you getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Are you stressing? Is there something taking your focus that's constantly pulling you in a different direction? And so I always try to help people at least level set, meaning let's get back and look at where you are at this particular moment, and let's figure out if there's so many other things going on in your life that are distracting you and causing your mind, your brain, not to focus on what you're trying to make sure that you retain and record so that when you need it later, you can retrieve it. And it's amazing how we can tangle ourselves up with our own mental synergies and spin ourselves into dizziness without even realizing it. So I just always try to get people to take a step back, put some focus on it, and let's see where that takes you. And it's trick-or-treat evening. I hope your neighborhood is well received and safe, and the decorations. I've seen some amazing Halloween decorations in our neighborhood. We drove around last evening to see what some of those may look like, lit up at night. It's just amazing, the creativity that people have and the infinite use that we have here of our mental skills. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.